Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Viktor Frankl. In this video, we will delve into the practical wisdom of Stoicism and explore 8 Stoic principles for dealing and resolving personal conflicts and mastering the art of not caring about unnecessary matters. You should watch this to gain a deeper understanding of how these time-tested Stoic principles can guide you in navigating personal conflicts with grace, maintaining calm in the face of adversity, and leading a more peaceful and contented life. By shifting your perspective and focus away from things outside your control to what's within, you'll learn not only to resolve conflicts more effectively, but also to reduce unnecessary stress and anxiety. This could be a transformative watch for anyone yearning for peace of mind and personal growth. If you find value in this content, do hit the subscribe button to continue your journey in understanding Stoicism. Remember, as the Stoics would say, it's not events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about them. So, stay stoic, keep an open mind, and watch till the end. You might discover a life-changing principle. Lesson 1. Understand what you can and can't control. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the concept of the dichotomy of control. It encourages us to recognize and accept the things that are within our control and those that are not. By understanding this distinction, we can navigate personal conflicts with a clearer perspective and a calmer mindset. In any conflict, it is crucial to acknowledge that we have control over our own thoughts, actions, and responses. We can choose how we interpret and react to the situation at hand. However, we cannot control the thoughts, emotions, or actions of others involved in the conflict. Consider a scenario where you are caught up in an argument with a close friend. It is natural to feel frustrated or hurt by their words or actions. However, Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control their behavior or change their viewpoint. What we can control is our own reaction and how we choose to respond. By recognizing the limits of our control, we can free ourselves from the burden of trying to change something beyond our power. Instead, we can focus our energy on what we can influence, such as our own behavior, communication, and emotional well-being. Practicing this Stoic principle requires a shift in mindset. It calls for acceptance of the reality that we cannot control everything around us. This does not mean we become passive or indifferent. Rather, it allows us to approach conflicts with a sense of humility and resilience. When faced with a personal conflict, take a moment to reflect on what aspects are within your control and what lies outside of it. Ask yourself, can I change the other person's behavior? Can I alter their perspective? If the answer is no, then it becomes essential to focus on what you can control, your own actions and responses. For instance, if a colleague constantly criticizes your work, you cannot control their opinions or actions. However, you can control how you react to their criticism. Instead of becoming defensive or resentful, you can choose to respond with grace and professionalism. This not only diffuses the conflict, but also helps maintain your own peace of mind. Understanding the dichotomy of control is liberating. It allows us to let go of unnecessary stress and frustration by redirecting our attention towards what truly matters, our own character and intentions. By focusing on what we can control, we cultivate a sense of personal empowerment and develop resilience in the face of conflicts. In summary, Lesson 1 from our list of Stoic principles for dealing and resolving personal conflicts emphasizes the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. By recognizing our limited sphere of influence, we can shift our focus towards our own thoughts, actions, and responses. This shift in perspective enables us to approach conflicts with a sense of calmness, acceptance, and personal growth. Remember, as the Stoics would remind us, the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves. Lesson 2. Practice detachment. In the realm of Stoicism, detachment doesn't mean being apathetic or indifferent. It's about recognizing the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. By focusing our energy on our own actions, thoughts, and emotions, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and reduce unnecessary suffering caused by external factors. When it comes to personal conflicts, practicing detachment can be incredibly liberating. Often we become entangled in conflicts because we are overly invested in other people's opinions, judgments, or behaviors. We crave validation and approval, and when we don't receive it, conflicts arise. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus inward and prioritize our own intentions and actions rather than seeking external validation. By practicing detachment, we learn to accept that we cannot control how others perceive us or how they chose to act. Instead, we concentrate on our own principles and values, acting in accordance with what we believe is right. Imagine you find yourself in a conflict with a close friend or family member. They have criticized you or expressed disapproval of your choices. The natural response might be to feel hurt, defensive, or angry. However, by practicing detachment, you can approach the situation with a different mindset. First, remind yourself that you cannot control how others perceive you or their opinions of you. Their judgments stem from their own perspectives, biases, and experiences. Instead of getting caught up in their criticism, focus on your own actions and intention. Ask yourself if you have acted in line with your values and principles. If you have, then detach yourself from their judgments and trust in your own judgment. Secondly, detach yourself from the outcome of the conflict. Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on our actions rather than the results. Instead of fixating on whether you can change the other person's perspective or win the argument, concentrate on how you can communicate effectively, express your thoughts clearly, and show empathy. By detaching from the outcome, you can approach the conflict in a more level-headed manner, reducing stress and anxiety. Additionally, detachment allows us to let go of the need to control external circumstances. Often, conflicts arise from trying to control things beyond our control. By accepting that we cannot control others' thoughts, feelings, or actions, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to mold the world to our desires. Instead, we focus on what we can control: our responses, our attitudes, and our own personal growth. Practicing detachment in personal conflicts also helps us develop resilience and emotional stability. When we detach ourselves from the outcome, we become less vulnerable to the fluctuations of external circumstances. We don't allow the opinions or actions of others to determine our inner state. This doesn't mean we become emotionless, but rather that we cultivate emotional resilience by focusing on what truly matters: our own character and integrity. In conclusion, the practice of detachment in personal conflicts is a powerful Stoic principle that can lead to greater peace of mind and more effective conflict resolution. By shifting our focus inward, we detach ourselves from others' opinions, judgments, and outcomes. Instead, we concentrate on our own thoughts, actions, and values. Through detachment, we learn to navigate conflicts with equanimity, reducing unnecessary suffering and finding inner strength. So, embrace the power of detachment and experience the freedom it brings in your personal relationships and everyday life. Lesson 3. Embrace adversity. Stoicism teaches us to embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. It encourages us to shift our perspective and see challenges as valuable experiences rather than obstacles to be avoided. By embracing adversity, we can develop resilience, wisdom, and strength of character. In our modern society, we often seek comfort and avoid discomfort at all costs. We try to eliminate all forms of adversity from our lives, believing that happiness lies in a state of constant ease. However, the Stoics understood that this approach is misguided. They recognized that adversity is an inevitable part of life and that avoiding it only leads to stagnation and a lack of personal growth. When we face adversity, whether it be a conflict with a loved one, a setback at work, or a personal loss, our initial reaction may be one of frustration, anger, or despair. However, Stoicism encourages us to take a step back and view these challenges from a different perspective. One way to embrace adversity is by reframing it as an opportunity for learning. Every conflict we encounter provides us with a chance to develop our communication skills, increase our understanding of others, and learn more about ourselves. By approaching conflicts with curiosity rather than defensiveness, we can transform them into valuable learning experiences. For example, let's say you find yourself in a conflict with a colleague at work. Instead of viewing it as a negative experience, try to see it as an opportunity to improve your conflict resolution skills, practice empathy, and strengthen your relationships. By embracing the adversity and seeking to understand the perspectives of others, you can turn the conflict into a chance for personal and professional growth. Another way Stoicism teaches us to embrace adversity is by recognizing that it is often outside of our control. We cannot control the actions, words, or attitudes of others, but we can control our own responses and attitude. By accepting this fact, we can focus our energy on what is within our control and let go of the rest. In a conflict, this means letting go of our desire to control the other person's behavior or change their perspective. Instead, we can focus on how we choose to respond. Stoicism encourages us to respond with grace, patience, and understanding, even when faced with difficult circumstances. By doing so, we maintain our inner peace and avoid unnecessary suffering. Embracing adversity also allows us to build resilience. Just as a muscle grows stronger when subjected to resistance, our character develops and strengthens through the challenges we face. By confronting adversity head-on and persevering through difficult times, we become more resilient and better equipped to handle future challenges. In conclusion, embracing adversity is a powerful lesson from Stoicism that can positively impact our lives. By shifting our perspective, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, and focusing on what is within our control, we can transform conflicts and setbacks into valuable learning experiences. Embracing adversity allows us to develop resilience, wisdom, and strength of character, leading to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. So, the next time you face adversity, remember the Stoic lesson and embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Lesson 4. Practice negative visualization. One of the most fascinating and powerful practices in Stoicism is the act of negative visualization. This technique involves deliberately imagining the worst-case scenario in any given situation. While it may sound counterintuitive, negative visualization serves as a powerful tool for cultivating gratitude, reducing anxiety, and gaining a more realistic perspective on life's challenges. In our modern society, we often find ourselves consumed by worries and fears about what might go wrong. We constantly strive for success, happiness, and security, but rarely do we consider the possibility of failure, disappointment, or loss. This avoidance of negative outcomes creates an unrealistic and fragile mindset, leading to increased stress and discontentment. Stoics understood that by actively imagining the worst-case scenario, we can better appreciate and savor the present moment. By contemplating the loss of what we hold dear, whether it be our health, relationships, or possessions, we develop a deeper sense of gratitude for what we currently have. This practice reminds us of the impermanence of life and the importance of cherishing every precious moment. Let's consider an example. Imagine you're worried about a conflict with a close friend. Instead of dwelling on the potential arguments or hurtful words, engage in negative visualization. Picture the worst possible outcome, a complete breakdown of the friendship. As uncomfortable as this exercise may be, it helps put things into perspective. You realize that even if the friendship were to dissolve, you would still have the strength to move forward and find happiness elsewhere. This exercise allows you to detach yourself from the fear of loss and focus on the present moment of resolving the conflict. Negative visualization also helps to alleviate anxiety. By mentally preparing ourselves for negative outcomes, we become better equipped to handle them if they were to occur. We realize that we have the inner strength and resilience to navigate through life's challenges. This shift in mindset empowers us and reduces the fear associated with uncertainty, allowing us to approach conflicts with a calmer and more rational mindset. Moreover, negative visualization helps us gain a more realistic perspective on life. Often, our worries and anxieties are based on irrational fears or exaggerated expectations. By confronting and accepting the worst-case scenario, we can better evaluate the actual likelihood of it occurring. This practice helps us let go of unrealistic expectations and brings us back to the present moment, where we can focus on what truly matters. By incorporating negative visualization into our lives, we can develop a Stoic mindset that is resilient, grateful, and grounded in reality. It enables us to appreciate the good in our lives, find strength in the face of adversity, and approach conflicts with a sense of calm and rationality. So, I encourage you to embrace this powerful Stoic practice of negative visualization. Take a few moments each day to imagine the worst-case scenario in different aspects of your life. Allow yourself to feel the discomfort and then let it go, knowing that you have the inner strength to face whatever comes your way. By doing so, you will cultivate gratitude, reduce anxiety, and gain a more realistic perspective on life. If you found this lesson on negative visualization valuable, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to continue exploring the wisdom of Stoicism and its practical application in your life. Together, let's embrace the art of not giving a fuck in a stoic and meaningful way. Lesson 5. Pursue virtue. In the realm of personal conflicts, pursuing virtue is an essential principle derived from Stoic philosophy. Stoics believe that true happiness lies in living a life of virtue, guided by qualities such as honesty, justice, courage, and self-discipline. This principle holds immense significance when it comes to dealing with conflicts and maintaining a sense of inner peace. When faced with a personal conflict, our natural inclination may be to focus on the behavior and actions of the other person involved. However, Stoicism encourages us to shift our attention inward and concentrate on our own virtues instead. This means embodying the best version of ourselves regardless of how others may act. By prioritizing virtue, we detach ourselves from the outcome of the conflict and concentrate on what truly matters: our own character and integrity. We recognize that we cannot control the actions or thoughts of others, but we have complete control over our own choices and responses. This empowers us to approach conflicts with a calm and rational mindset, guided by the principles of virtue. For instance, imagine you find yourself in a heated argument with a close friend. The Stoic approach would involve focusing on being honest, just, and compassionate, regardless of how the other person behaved. You would strive to express your thoughts and emotions in a respectful and considerate manner, rather than resorting to anger or manipulation. Practicing virtue allows us to rise above the negativity and pettiness often associated with conflicts. It enables us to maintain our moral compass and act in accordance with our values. By embodying these virtues, we not only foster healthier relationships but also cultivate a sense of self-worth and personal growth. Moreover, pursuing virtue helps us avoid becoming entangled in the cycle of blame and resentment. Stoics emphasize that we should not hold grudges or harbor ill will towards others. Instead, we aim to approach conflicts with empathy and understanding, recognizing that everyone is subject to their own struggles and shortcomings. In the pursuit of virtue, we also learn the importance of self-reflection and improvement. Stoics believed in examining our own actions and thoughts, questioning our motivations, and striving to align ourselves with the principles of virtue. This introspective practice allows us to learn from conflicts, recognizing areas where we may have faltered and areas where we can grow. By focusing on virtue, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to control external circumstances or the behavior of others. We redirect our energy towards cultivating our own character and living a life of integrity. This not only brings us closer to inner tranquility, but also inspires others through our example. In conclusion, the pursuit of virtue is a powerful principle in the realm of personal conflicts. By embodying qualities such as honesty, justice, courage, and self-discipline, we can navigate conflicts with grace and maintain our sense of inner peace. This Stoic principle reminds us that our true happiness lies not in external circumstances, but in our own character and choices. So, in the face of conflicts, let us prioritize virtue, embody the best version of ourselves, and inspire others through our action. Lesson 6. Accept what is. In the realm of personal conflicts, one of the most challenging lessons to embrace is Stoic principle number 6. Accept what is. This principle encourages us to confront the reality of a situation and accept it without resistance or unnecessary attachment to our desires or expectations. By practicing acceptance, we can find greater peace of mind and act more effectively in resolving conflicts. When faced with a personal conflict, our natural tendency is often to resist and fight against it. We may become overwhelmed by negative emotions such as anger, frustration, or sadness, which cloud our judgment and hinder productive communication. Stoicism, however, teaches us to approach conflicts with a different mindset, one that acknowledges the reality of the situation and seeks to work with it rather than against it. Acceptance does not imply passivity or surrender. It means acknowledging that the conflict exists and recognizing that we cannot change certain aspects of it, such as another person's thoughts or behaviors. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from futile attempts to control the uncontrollable and redirect our focus towards what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. To illustrate this principle, let's consider a common scenario: a disagreement with a close friend. You may have differing opinions about a particular topic, and tension arises. Instead of engaging in a heated argument or attempting to change your friend's perspective, acceptance allows you to adopt a more understanding and empathetic approach. By accepting the reality of your friend's viewpoint and acknowledging that you cannot force them to agree with you, you can shift your focus to listening and seeking common ground. This change in perspective fosters compassion and opens the door for a more constructive dialogue. Acceptance enables you to detach yourself from the need to be right, allowing space for growth and resolution. Furthermore, acceptance helps us avoid unnecessary suffering. When we resist reality, we create internal turmoil, amplifying our emotional distress. Stoicism teaches us that suffering arises not from external events, but from our judgments and reactions to them. By accepting what is, we can alleviate our own suffering and approach conflicts with a clearer and more rational mindset. However, acceptance does not mean resignation or indifference. It means acknowledging the situation as it is, understanding our own limitations, and actively seeking solutions and compromises within those boundaries. It encourages us to adapt and find creative ways to resolve conflicts, rather than being consumed by negative emotions or becoming fixated on an ideal outcome. By integrating the principle of acceptance into our lives, we can transform our approach to personal conflicts. We learn to let go of the need for control and focus on what truly matters: our own growth, understanding, and the quality of our relationships. Through acceptance, we cultivate emotional resilience, wisdom, and the ability to navigate conflicts with grace and integrity. In conclusion, embracing Stoic principle number 6, accepting what is, empowers us to confront personal conflicts with clarity and compassion. By letting go of resistance and aligning our thoughts and actions with reality, we can find greater peace, reduce unnecessary suffering, and work towards meaningful resolution. So, in the face of conflicts, remember to practice acceptance, for it is through acceptance that we unlock the door to growth, understanding, and harmonious relationships. Stay stoic, my friend. Lesson 7. Live in the present. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the importance of living in the present moment. Lesson 7 on our list of Stoic principles for dealing and resolving personal conflicts emphasizes this notion. The Stoics believe that dwelling on the past or worrying about the future only detracts from our ability to fully experience and engage with the present. By focusing our attention on the here and now, we can better navigate conflicts and find greater peace of mind. When we find ourselves engaged in a personal conflict, it is easy to get caught up in past grievances or future worries. We may replay past arguments in our minds, holding on to grudges or seeking revenge. Alternatively, we might project our fears and anxieties into the future, anticipating the worst possible outcomes. However, the Stoics remind us that neither dwelling on the past nor worrying about the future serves us well. To truly embrace the present moment in the midst of a conflict, we need to develop a sense of mindfulness. Mindfulness involves consciously directing our attention to the present moment without judgment. It allows us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations objectively without getting swept away by them. By practicing mindfulness, we can gain clarity and make more rational decisions, even in the midst of conflict. Living in the present also means focusing on the immediate task at hand. When engaged in a conflict, it is important to address the current situation rather than bringing up past grievances or projecting future worries. By keeping our attention on the present, we can engage in constructive dialogue and work towards resolving conflicts more effectively. Moreover, living in the present helps us cultivate gratitude and appreciation for what we currently have. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to conflict because it shifts our focus away from what's lacking or what went wrong and redirects it towards the positive aspects of our lives. By appreciating the present moment, we can approach conflicts with a calmer and more compassionate mindset. Practicing living in the present moment also aligns with the Stoic principle of accepting what is. Acceptance does not mean resignation or passivity. Rather, it means acknowledging and embracing reality as it is, even if it is not what we desire. In conflicts, acceptance allows us to let go of attachment to specific outcomes or expectations, thus reducing our emotional distress. By fully embracing the present moment, we become more attuned to our own emotions and those of others. We can listen more attentively, empathize more deeply, and respond more compassionately. Living in the present helps us to be fully present for others, fostering better communication and understanding. This can lead to more collaborative and mutually satisfying resolutions to conflicts. In our fast-paced and hyper-connected world, it is easy to become distracted and disconnected from the present moment. We may find ourselves constantly checking our phones, worrying about future events, or ruminating over past mistakes. However, by consciously practicing living in the present, we can reclaim our attention and bring more peace and fulfillment into our lives. In conclusion, Lesson 7 of the Stoic Principles for Dealing and Resolving Personal Conflicts reminds us of the importance of living in the present moment. By focusing on the here and now, we can navigate conflicts with greater clarity, compassion, and gratitude. Living in the present allows us to let go of past grievances and future worries, enabling us to engage in effective communication and find meaningful resolution. So, let us embrace the present moment and make the most of our interactions, for it is in the present that our power to shape our lives resides. Stay stoic, and may you find peace and wisdom in the present moment. Lesson 8. Self-discipline. In the realm of personal conflicts, practicing self-discipline is crucial for maintaining composure, making wise decisions, and resolving conflicts in a stoic manner. Self-discipline, a cornerstone of Stoicism, involves mastering control over our reactions, emotions, and desires. It empowers us to respond to conflicts with poise, rationality, and integrity. Conflicts often trigger strong emotional responses like anger, frustration, or resentment. However, Stoicism teaches us that these emotions are not inherently caused by external events, but rather by our own judgments and interpretation. By practicing self-discipline, we can learn to manage and regulate our emotional reactions, allowing us to approach conflicts with a clear and calm mind. To practice self-discipline in the face of conflicts, we must first become aware of our emotional responses. Recognize the initial stirrings of anger, irritation, or defensiveness, and take a pause. In that moment, remind yourself that reacting impulsively will only escalate the conflict and cloud your judgment. Remember, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Once you've taken that pause, engage in self-reflection. Ask yourself if your emotional response is justified or if it stems from a misunderstanding or bias. Stoicism encourages us to question our judgments and look at conflicts from a different perspective. This allows us to detach ourselves from our emotions and approach the situation with greater objectivity. Furthermore, practicing self-discipline means restraining our desire for immediate gratification and resisting the temptation to engage in retaliatory actions or hurtful words. Stoics believe that true power lies in our ability to control ourselves, not others. Instead of seeking revenge or trying to prove ourselves right, we should focus on finding a resolution that benefits all parties involved. To cultivate self-discipline, Stoicism suggests several practical techniques. One such technique is negative visualization, where we contemplate the potential consequences of acting impulsively or allowing conflicts to escalate. By envisioning the negative outcomes, we gain perspective and are less likely to act impulsively. Another technique is mindfulness, which involves being fully present in the moment and aware of our thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, we can catch ourselves in the midst of emotionally charged reactions and consciously choose a more measured response. Moreover, self-discipline requires ongoing practice and consistency. It involves making conscious choices aligned with our values and virtues. Even when it's challenging, Stoics emphasize the importance of daily self-examination and self-improvement, striving to become better individuals each day. By mastering self-discipline, we gain a sense of inner strength and autonomy. We become less reliant on external circumstances for our well-being and happiness. Conflicts no longer have the power to disturb our inner tranquility, as we've learned to navigate them with grace and wisdom. In conclusion, Lesson 8 in our list of Stoic principles for dealing and resolving personal conflicts highlights the significance of self-discipline. By practicing self-discipline, we can regulate our emotional reactions, approach conflicts with rationality and integrity, and work towards resolutions that are fair and just. It empowers us to navigate conflicts with composure, maintaining inner peace amidst external turmoil. So embrace the lessons of self-discipline, and remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
Thank you.